Hey, welcome to This is Lazy Wednesday podcast.
Yeah, so I'm Tim.
I'm Jacob.
And I'm still me.
Nice. So yeah, we decided that to keep ourselves busy during the summer, we wanted to do something. So we decided to do a podcast. And like for myself, I don't know, I always enjoyed them. I find them really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool to just get another media source and kind of receive that. And it's a very raw interpretation of just people talking and kind of their ideas and whatnot. I think that's just super cool. The great thing about podcasts.
Well, and the other thing is we didn't make a Adventure Tuesday, so we were kind of making up for that. And then we decided it would just become a thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a little bit of talking, we decided why not have a podcast along with Adventure Tuesday. But, kind of I guess, for you guys to know what we're going to even be doing is obviously talking about, life and its craziness. And also, we're here for the mad views, bro.
The dank YouTube monies.
Send us subscriptions.
Comment and cry.
Tell us what you want, all that good stuff. And, just, to keep ourselves busy. But yeah, I guess to kind of start off, for you guys listening, the idea of Adventure Tuesday was something that I think is great to discuss because it was kind of this random thing that happened, and so it was originally my sister's idea, Riley's idea. She was like, Tim, I want to do something, and I have time Tuesday. I'm not working in the afternoons. It was also partially because where we work at, there's a big summer extravaganza thing. And me personally, I wanted to include Josh and Jacob in it because I know Josh and Jacob are, been bored and I've missed hanging out with them. So it led me to be Sad Boy Tim, and I wanted to include them more. And so that happened, and also I was introduced to Steven Suptic from Jacob and Josh, and I fell in love with what they're doing and the film style and this kind of humor that got created. And so Josh had the brilliant idea of let's film it. Let's film what we're doing, make it cheesy, make it bitty, and we'll just make a bad rip-off of Steven Suptic. And I'm happy with that. And, it's also just, for me, it was a good excuse to, hang out with friends. I think it's great. What do you guys have to say?
I'm just in it for the YouTube ad revenue. Don't you know it?
Wow. Not even for me.
Well, and Steven Suptic was really a great, inspiration to kind of do this stuff because for people who haven't seen any of his videos, generally the format is he goes out with friends to go do something, and kind of as they're doing whatever they're doing, they'll do improvised skits where they're all kind of playing these different weird parts. So one of the guys, is a guy that vapes a lot and is really an idiot. There's another guy that's really condescending and talks very blandly. There's the other guy that's overly violent. There's one guy that is probably a serial killer. And
isn't your friend the serial killer?
Yeah. So a friend of ours recently moved to L.A.
It didn't tell me.
A few months ago. And so when I was watching a Steven Suptic video and just saw him in it, it was pretty cool to
I don't know. Good friend is a little bit of a overstatement. We talked a bit. I wouldn't say we're good friends, but we were. The few times we talked, we were pretty.
I meant
chill.
good in quality.
Oh, good in quality. Not we didn't know him that well. If
Jeremy
ever watches this, he probably won't.
Yeah, I never.
We love you, Jeremy. If you're listening,
we knew him. We didn't know him deeply, but
I didn't know you well, but I wanted to know you weller.
Exactly.
But so, yeah. And it's just a great concept, and they've done a really good job of putting that together. And they put out a ton of content. They usually put out a video every
day.
Every 1 to 2 days.
And they're really good about it. I mean, they do a really good job with, keeping the video to what they want to talk about, while still having those, kind of hilarious tangents.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
While our video is more or less just a string of tangents that don't make sense.
Yeah, if anyone accuses us of being Steven Suptic ripoffs, congratulations. That's exactly what we are.
But we're bad ripoffs.
We're not even
good at
We're
this
the
point.
best. We're Best Western Steven Suptic. That's exactly what we're trying to be. So.
Yeah. No, that's an accurate statement for sure. I mean. Yeah. I was just really happy, getting introduced and being have you seen this guy? You need to watch him. And then watching him going, wow, this is actually stuff I enjoy watching. Because, I mean, it's hard to find, there's so many YouTube channels out there that, provide the same content, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
And so finding like the ones that you really enjoy and like the little niches that like the little factions always are super exciting, and definitely Steven Subject for me has definitely become one. His videos make me laugh every time I watch them, and they're always just kind of that awkward, obscure humor that I love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I just want to say that, you know, this isn't exactly what the purpose of my YouTube channel is. I mean, well, actually it is. I mean, the focus of my YouTube channel in the past has been kind of more on the animation community and stuff involved there, and my personal story, which is still not done. It's coming. I promise.
You can buy merch, though.
You can buy merch. It's
dope.
just not out yet. But I actually wasn't going to announce that yet.
Oh.
But there will be an official announcement later for the merch. Not that I really expect anyone to buy it, but it's there in case a couple of you actually care enough about my series once it's actually out to buy something. I mean, Tim's already bought stuff just because, well,
I have the good hookup.
He's got the good hookups. He knows the guy.
I'm sitting like 2 people away from him.
He's got a dealer.
He's
got a dealer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got a phone case for my new iPhone. I got a cool sticker that I put on my computer.
But anyways,
computer charger.
this is a bit of a tangent. But I mean, sure, this might be something that only lasts this summer. Like, I don't even know how long we're going to do this for, but the purpose of my YouTube channel is just to do whatever I want. And if that means being a really bad Steven Suptic ripoff just because I find it enjoyable, that's what I'm going to do. And if Steven Suptic says, hey, stop making your videos, that would be weird. I don't think he's even ever going to notice. But if he does notice that we're making really, really poorly made things in a similar style to his, I'd actually probably just be flattered that he found us.
Even if he criticized the living hell out of it, I think it'd just be cool.
Oh, I think it'd be hilarious if he criticized the living hell out of it. I mean,
I would enjoy it. That'd be awesome.
The videos in themselves are just worthless. Like, they're really dumb.
Well,
and that's kind of the point.
Well, and the thing is that, you know, it's kind of like being another Let's Play channel for the most part.
It's like, oh, you're just doing this because PewDiePie did it.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
like,
no
matter what you do
at
with
least
this style, it's going to be kind of different if you're doing it, like, if you're actually doing it right. So it's hard to, like, actually be, like, a complete rip-off.
And I mean, at least we acknowledge that, yeah, we were inspired by Steven Suptic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
We're not trying to hide it.
No,
inspiration
we don't
is just a part of life. Nothing is truly original. Steven Suptic probably got his inspirations from some various places, you know? Like,
they just do it way better than we would.
Like the Star Wars movies. They've got yellow subtitles. That's probably inspiration, right?
Something like
and
that.
And Kib's pretty much an alien.
That's true.
True.
I mean, he's from Canada.
Yeah, they're all aliens there, I'm fairly certain.
Shout out to Terra Moonfrost 18. I don't actually know what your actual username is. Yeah. You're a Canadian. You know who you are.
You'll figure it out. But yeah, I mean, and like, just like watching Steven Subject and kind of like the combination of just like hanging out with friends and wanting to do something every Tuesday has like definitely helped me this summer. I know, because like I'm going through a lot of like just changes with friend groups and with people and like working on my own like
we're all in kind of a weird place in life right now. Like,
I mean, I just graduated high school.
We're all out of high school, but we're not like in college. We're just kind of doing stuff.
I mean, it's a weird feeling, and there's just been a lot of changes with me and my friend groups, and I'm realizing that, you know, I want to find other people. And so the fact that like my sister was super adamant about being like, let's do something every Tuesday. Let's just have an adventure every Tuesday. And then me going, well, I want to include other people in it too, so it's not just us two.
And now we include you guys as well through the form of visual media.
And also this podcast here.
And less than visual media.
Exactly.
Which is a alternate title for this podcast.
Something like that.
Less than visual media.
Exactly. And I just like I really appreciate my sister who kind of started this. So like, shout out to Riley. I know she'll probably never will listen to this, but she might if I tell her anyway. But you know, shout out to her.
350 something channel giving like 12 shout outs in one video.
Exactly. Shout out because we made 100 likes.
Wow, we got 10
likes, guys.
We didn't even get 100 views on anything.
No, true. 10 likes, guys. Just give us 10 likes. That's all we ask for.
If we get 10 likes on this video, Tim will eat something weird.
Yeah, boy.
Like his foot.
I'm not eating my foot.
He's not going to eat his foot.
No.
We'll come up with something.
Yeah, we'll do it for you guys.
We'll bring
mad views, bro. Mad views, bro. But yeah, like, I'm just super excited. I'm really looking forward to this summer now, even more than before. I know I was going to have a good summer, but now I'm really excited because of Adventure Tuesdays, hanging out with friends, making dumb videos, and having a good time. And I'm just
smart
like,
videos. Probably not.
bad rip-off videos.
Bad
That's what we
rip-off
live
videos.
for.
You know what we could do? We could do, if we get 10 likes, Tim has to eat pizza with pineapple on it.
That's terrible, you monster. I don't like that. That's not even okay at this point.
Don't even joke about that, Jacob.
That's something that you don't joke
Should
about.
be a
pizza.
crime.
That is, yeah. If you like pizza, like pineapple. If you like pizza on pineapple. If you like pineapple on pizza, you're just.
Right.
I can't. I don't know if I can talk to you.
Well, I'd say that's enough for our opening segment. What's our next segment, Mr. Tim?
So we're gonna move into kind of this like segment of what's going on in the media, not as news, but like what we're enjoying, like what we're seeing.
Do we have like a title for this segment? Like do we have a Billboard style?
Do we want a Billboard style for this?
Intro song music?
I don't really
Let's
have
make one
anything
up
for it.
acapella.
I just kind of put currently enjoying, but
Current. You have to do the acapella with me. You have to.
currently enjoying stuff.
It was.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad.
Let's
but
just
that's
get
okay.
into it.
Anyway, something that I've really gotten into now, and it's both in books and it's in TV. It's Dirk Gently, Holistic Detective Agency.
Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective
So
Agency.
I'm really like what I love about it is I got into it because Josh and Jacob.
That's not current.
Well, it's not current, but
they haven't announced when the second.
They
season's
haven't,
coming.
but I mean, it's
go watch it. You have time.
Recent. Yeah, you have time. Watch it. It's worth it. It's like
good.
8 episodes long. It's
45
minute episodes.
That's like
unless you watch it on BBC America, then it takes 12 years to load, and you'll feel bad.
You
but
could
I mean,
easily
worth it.
binge that in one day.
Oh, easily.
Easily.
And it's worth it to binge. But what I'd also say too is
It's the binging season.
It is the binging season. I mean, it's summer. Unless you like
Binge
live in
binge
like
whatever you
a
can.
country where you have school year all year round, and then I feel sorry for you. But I don't know.
I cry every time.
I feel bad. But so like what I love about it is like they took these 2 books that Douglas Adams wrote. He was going to actually write a third one, but then he passed away, which is super bummer because kind of like what he did with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, he wrote 3 books, and then he had to write 2 more books to make up for all the missing like loopholes and stuff that he put in his first 3 books. And I feel like that's probably what happened with Dirk Gently, Holistic Detective Agency, and The Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul. If you haven't read those books, definitely read them. It's really obscure humor. It's really funny sci-fi humor.
Douglas Adams is just great.
Douglas, yeah. Hey, like, hands down. You haven't read it, worth it.
Read any Douglas Adams.
Pretty much, honestly. Like, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is an amazing series. It gets weird and
don't
super meta,
like-
but that's okay.
If you don't like Douglas Adams, you can just not watch my videos. That's
It's okay.
totally cool.
Yeah, we don't feel bad. Well, I mean, I'd be kind of bummed
I
because,
feel bad
less
for you.
views. Yeah. But, like, what was super cool is the fact that they took this, like, really obscure book, like, these really obscure 2 books, and they like made it into a TV series. And what's cool is that like, like a lot of times TV shows will like try to be super accurate to like books sometimes, and they'll try to be really close. But sometimes, and I put sometimes very loosely in terms. But I think what's cool with Douglas, with what they did with the TV series, is they took kind of the main ideas of the book, like the whole holistic detective agency, everything's connected, and then gave it its own spin. With still holding to that kind of true Douglas Adams nature.
Douglas Adams is a hard author to adapt to film. Because he's very detailed.
Yeah, he's very detailed, like obscure detail-oriented. And like they've tried, like for instance, they made the movie that had, Martin Freeman in it, which wasn't terrible. Like reading the first one, it was pretty accurate, more or less. I mean, they obviously screwed up some stuff, that's fine. Before that, like in the 80s, I want to say, they made like a 5-part mini series that like went through each book, and went through each book or whatever. That didn't do a good job at all. But it is really hard to get at like the obscure nature that is Douglas Adams. Like one of my favorite examples was in the first book. You have the 2 missiles in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy that one turns into a blue sperm whale, and the other one turns into a bowl of petunias. And the blue sperm whale is learning about life and then dies, and the bowl of petunias goes, oh no, not again. And you never understand why in the first book. You have to wait till like book 4 before he explains it. And it's those kind of like detailed, obscure humor that holds true in Douglas Adams and in Dirk Gently. And like in the TV show itself, they put so much detail into it. It's crazy. Like everything's important. Every image, every song, every scene is just important to the storyline. Like,
man, there's one specific song cue, and that is just brilliant. Like, I love what they did with that.
Oh, what song cue is
It's
that?
too many spoilers to talk about.
Yeah, but what song cue do you know?
So there's a song. This isn't too spoilery. There's a song that plays at the end of the first episode,
Right.
and just pay attention to that because you'll hear it again.
And it's just a little clip of it.
It's just
Yeah.
a short part of a
I'll
song,
have to listen to that now.
and there's some lyrics.
Just rewatch the whole movie.
And just
thing.
rewatch the whole.
yeah,
You'll
just-
rewatch the whole series. You want to watch every episode twice, basically.
That's
yeah,
true.
and
That's
like
very
what's
true.
what's super cool too is the scene like for instance, I got my dad and my uncle into the show. Like they recorded it and they're watching it, and my uncle's read both books now, or he's reading the second one at this point, and he's like not actually hating it, which is crazy because there's like a lot of this isn't super spoilery. There's a lot of gore, there's a lot of blood effects, and
Yeah.
my dad usually isn't really into that. Like, he doesn't enjoy that type of stuff, but he actually doesn't hate it for Dirk Gently, which is kind of cool to see, because he's, like, they're really enjoying it. Like, they're actually going out of their way to record it and watch it, and we aren't, like, forcing them to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's super cool. I mean, so that's something that's kind of happening right now that's really just dope, in my opinion. That's just super cool to see that. I mean, what else, what about for you guys? Like, what are you guys enjoying right now, like, in this realm of the world and media and things?
So speaking of binging, I binge watched Riverdale
I need to watch
this
that.
last weekend in like
I still haven't seen any of that.
Neither
2
have I.
nights. It was pretty rough because they're all 45 minutes.
That is, how many episodes are in it?
Like 13.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was in 2 different
That's like
nights.
6 and 7. Oh,
Yeah, it was pretty. It was
that's
pretty.
like intense. Like, I'm not even good at that. I wish I was.
It was intense.
I
but
thought I
It's pretty
was, I'm
intense
not.
binging, yeah.
it was really good though. I really enjoyed it. There were some aspects of it I didn't like. Like I didn't like. There was some stuff with Archie where he was sleeping with the teacher or whatever.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I don't want to see teacher student.
That wasn't very important though, so I just kind of ignored that part. But other than that, it was pretty great. It was pretty interesting, as kind of
And Cole Sprouse is in it.
Cole Sprouse from
Yeah, but like
Sweet
Cole
Life of
Sprouse
Zack and
is
Cody.
hot
Sexy
now.
man. No, he was always hot.
He was pretty
always
hot. Even like
He was always hot.
well, he played the nerdy one in.
Yeah, he was Cody
Yeah.
from Zack and
Yeah,
Cody.
he was the nerdy one, and then he just became like hunky goddess.
No, he was
god
he was
man.
always a hunky god man.
He pretty much was, and he just grew into it.
It's true.
And I
He
think
was
it's
just a
cool.
prepubescent
Yeah.
hunky god man.
And like what's cool too is like they're like some of the Disney stars that didn't go completely bananas after Disney. Like they went off to college, they actually got some cool degrees. They're like back into what they're good at.
Yeah, that's him.
think it's really
I watched
dope.
some interesting interviews because so with Archie, for anyone that knows Archie, it's a comic series that's been going for about 75 years.
Yeah, it's been going a long time.
And Cole Sprouse plays Jughead, Archie's best friend. But it's pretty interesting just because, like, Cole Sprouse had some really kind of intellectual stuff to say about playing that role, which was pretty cool to see. And his character's kind of interesting as, like, he's a kind of depressed
He's a sad boy?
outsider.
Okay.
And he's pretty cool, and I really actually enjoyed his character. And he's kind of he's the narrator for the show.
Right. You've said that
So Cole Sprouse said that he was trying to imitate noir films and also Morgan Freeman.
Oh.
Which is
I
pretty
mean,
funny.
who wouldn't want to imitate Morgan Freeman, honestly?
Yeah.
I would imitate Gordon Freeman for anything.
Not Gordon Freeman. Morgan Freeman.
What did I say?
Gordon Freeman.
What's
Wrong.
the difference?
Morgan
They're
Freeman's
pretty much the
god.
same person.
No.
Gordon Freeman's a god.
Kind of.
But the show had some pretty cool themes of like finding the truth and also how you can't really keep secrets. If you keep secrets, it's just gonna like hurt you and the people around you.
Yes, teaching morals to awkward teacher-student affairs.
But it was a pretty cool show and great visuals, like great visually. It looks amazing and like it's kind of cool like stylistically what they've done because it's
Yeah.
kind of everything kind of looks like it's from the 50s,
But it's not.
but it takes place in present day, which I was confused about that when I first started watching it because like everyone's wearing clothes that like kind of look like the 50s.
Yeah, but
But
it's obviously...
people are like using like smartphones and stuff like that.
Okay.
But
So it's like that noir, new age kind of thing.
yeah,
Kinda stylized.
somewhat.
Yeah, it's and I love when like TV films do that, where it's such like a unique kind of concept in like regarding how they filmed, how they looked at it like in movies. Like Birdman's one of my favorites because of the film style. Not even like necessarily the storyline, but I love the storyline too. Don't get me wrong, but how they filmed it was they made it look like a single pan the entire time, so it was always the camera facing on the main action, and then it always looked like it was moving backwards, except for the last scene. Super meta. But like, I love that. Like, I love when film does that. When film and TV shows really get at that, and they nail it too. Like, sometimes you do it, and then it just looks awkward. But that's super cool.
Yeah, it was a very beautiful show.
Yeah.
I'm also enjoying Dragon Ball Super
You nerd.
right now.
You animu.
Well,
Subbed or dubbed?
I'm
Yeah.
a really big Dragon Ball fan.
But subbed or dubbed? That's the real question here.
Subbed or dubbed?
Well, right now I'm
This
going
is gonna-
subbed,
you're going
but
sub?
only because of the fact that it's what's out right now.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it's kind of hard to watch, though, because Goku's voice is super high-pitched.
I mean, it's not that hard. Like, I do really enjoy the dubbed voices for Dragon Ball, just because that's kind of what I heard originally. Like, I didn't
Right.
really have much of a choice of subbed or dubbed as a kid because, you know, the only way I ran into Dragon Ball was when it would air on, like, Nickelodeon or whatever.
Right, back when it was like Dragon Ball Z or whatever.
Yeah.
See, I never watched Dragon Ball. Like, I never really watched a lot of anime.
Well, and
And
so...
all the anime I watched was subbed.
Well,
which was actually hilarious.
what confuses some people about Dragon Ball, I think, is they think it's an action show.
It's not.
It's not. It's actually more of a comedy,
Right.
and it does have a lot of action in it. Don't get me wrong, but to some degree, the purpose of it is a bit more comedic in nature. So subbed tends to explain puns better than dubbed will.
Yeah.
Dubbed will tend to just like walk over it, but you know, with subbed, they can like put like something at the bottom that connects the pun.
Right.
Like Cell, one of the enemies in Dragon Ball Z, the word in Japanese for Cell is bento, and he was fighting a guy named Gohan, which basically means hungry or something like that. I forgot exactly what it meant, but so people that were spectating on the side thought that they were going to stop for lunch, but what was actually happening was Gohan was going to fight Cell.
Right.
So they were really confused about what was going on, and you know that's a pun most people miss for that show.
It's like an intentional.
I think in the
Pun.
dubbed they said, "Oh, now they're going to order a pizza," and you're like, "Why would you think they're going to order a pizza? That doesn't make any sense."
When like Americans try to dub something, they just don't understand the context.
Well, no, I think they understood. They tried to convey the joke. The joke just wasn't there without your understanding of what the names meant.
Yeah, probably. Once again, I never watched like Dragon Ball Z or any of the Dragon Balls. I just never got around to watching it. I was like that one kid who someone was like, "You should watch Attack on Titan," and I'm like, "Okay, why not?" And it was on Netflix too, so I watched it. I didn't hate it. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. It was an interesting concept.
I didn't really like Attack on Titan that much.
Right. I mean, it wasn't like.
It wasn't great.
It wasn't terrible. Like as an intro into kind of watching anime, it was a nice intro.
Some of the ideas in it were pretty interesting, but I don't know. I didn't really care about any of the characters.
Yeah, there wasn't enough for me to like invest in. I loved Food Wars, and if you haven't
I've heard
seen
good
that,
things about
okay,
Food
so
Wars.
like what made Food Wars great was my friend Sam Pauls, great Lewiston friend of mine, was like he came over sometime last year, I believe, or something, and it was just him and I hanging out for the day. And then we were in my room, and it was like 10 o'clock, and we were like messing around my computer. And he goes, "Hey Tim, have you ever seen Food Wars?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Pull it up." So we go onto like illegal Kiss Anime before it got taken down website and watch the first episode of Food Wars. And basically, the show is like this kid who is a amazing cook at his dad's cookery, and his dad's like this like world-class chef, and his dad sends him to the best cooking like school in the entire world, and it's on top of a giant mountain. And they basically took every classic anime trope that you could possibly do, like, and just overplayed the living heck out of it. So like they made like super beautiful women, or like really giant inflated boobs, or you know, every time they like eat something delicious, all the women like suddenly just lose it, and you just have like a lot of moaning. But like, and it wasn't even like the fact that was bad. It was because they overplayed it so much that it was comical and well put together, and it was like a fun show to watch. It's not super long, and I'm glad I watched it. It was sometimes uncomfortable, and I always had to worry if my mom
octopus?
The octopus, yeah, that was weird, and I always had to kind of worry because like I was watching on my computer, and I really didn't want my mom to walk in and suddenly see like this girl like losing her, you know, mind over some delicious fried rice and her moaning, and my mom walking in going, "What the hell are you watching?" thinking I'm like watching hentai, even though my mom probably has no idea what hentai is. Don't
Food
do
porn.
that. Food porn. Yeah. So, I mean, like, Food Wars in itself as an anime was a good one. I would probably not watch that first, though, because it might just be a huge turnoff for you.
Well, and to some degree, I feel like understanding Food Wars, you have to understand anime first.
Yeah.
And the, like, over-the-top nature of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you couldn't watch Deadpool without having some idea of what comic book superheroes were like.
Well, like, even then, Deadpool, like, reading, like, you go and you read, like, Deadpool comics, like, I own a couple of them, and you have, like, that's where you kind of get your understanding of Deadpool's nature and character really well, because they do a great job of that in the comics, obviously basing it off the movie. But yeah, like, even just, like, reading other, like, superhero comics and just getting an idea of, like, how it works and, you know, the humor that Deadpool pokes at, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, Deadpool's a great one, and I'm excited for the second one.
And I didn't mean to make this all about anime, but the only thing I've been watching recently was that my buddy started showing me JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which
I haven't watched that either.
is exactly what it sounds like. It is a bizarre adventure.
Is it multiple adventures?
It is multiple adventures.
Are they all
not
weird?
all starring JoJo, but not necessarily the same JoJo.
Are they all pretty bizarre?
But it's a bizarre show. Mm-hmm. It is just ridiculous to its last letter. You're
right. Would you say then, like, you
it's a
should
fun
watch
ride? If you like just ridiculous humor, this is a show for you. It's just out there.
Would you recommend, like, starting with a different anime or just dive in with JoJo?
I don't know if this really is a good, like, if you're like, I want to start trying anime, I don't know if this is necessarily a good introduction to anime, just because although it's an anime, it's not a typical anime, so it won't give you an idea of what anime is like for the most part, other than maybe visually. For the most part, it's just weird. If you like weird things,
if you're a fan of the eclectic, it's probably a show for you.
It's just ridiculous.
And its point isn't even to make fun of anime being over the top. It's just to be really weird.
Yeah, it's just the purpose of the show is just it's
to
over the top.
Weird, yeah.
That is that's the whole show.
I mean, that's super cool that, like, you know, creative directors are like, you know what I want to do? I want to make something so ridiculously weird that it's going to have a super occult following. And then, like, you have those, like, just devoted fans who are there, like, the entire ride through.
Well, and sometimes...
It's like the occult following of DJ Khaled before he became just terrible.
Sometimes when you watch a show, an anime show, you can tell when the director starts dabbling in drugs, specifically hallucinogens, and then you can tell at what point they become addicted to hallucinogens.
You can tell their progression of drug use, and then you should probably call a doctor or, like, get, like, a group seance thing going down. Like, it's kind of like not seance, intervention. I should have said. I mean, it could be. I mean, if you really need divine power, or you need to talk to the dead.
I think if you need a seance, it's probably too late for their drug habit.
Yeah, but you catch them right when they start becoming fully addicted, and you have, like, an intervention, and even then, it probably doesn't work anyway, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, so that's kind of like some cool stuff that's been happening recently. I want to say, like, have you guys read any recent books?
I don't read a whole lot. No.
Okay.
Nothing recently. There's a few I've been wanting to check out, though.
One that I would recommend that I just recently read is called Big Trouble by Dave Barry, and it actually was made into a movie that featured Tim Allen. Interestingly enough. But, like, the book, it's a short read. It's like 250 pages, maybe. Mm-hmm. And it's just fun. It's raunchy. It's, like, it's basically all these different, like, situations that all happen at once and just becomes this big chaotic mess. And it's absolutely hilarious. It's kind of like reading a really, really raunchy, dirty version of Douglas Adams' writing style. And more down to earth, so obviously it's not focusing necessarily on, like... It would be like Douglas Adams without the sci-fi, kind of. It's that kind of humorous writing style where it makes blatant jokes or, like, just very direct, weird statements, and then kind of just, like, brushes it off as a aside and then keeps going on. But if you haven't read Big Trouble by Dave Barry, I highly recommend it. I'm actually letting a friend borrow it, but, like, definitely, it's a fun, fast read. You just dive right in, you enjoy it for the ride, and then you're like, all right, cool, I can move on to something else.
All right, well, that looks like that's all we got for you this week, this Lazy Wednesday podcast.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Catch up with us. Yeah, all the few, like, 3 people who are actually going to be like, wow, this is great.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Don't get too crazy this week, and we'll catch you guys next Lazy Wednesday.
Tune in next time just to hear Tim say...
Pie.
All right, no.